Well, do you have any idea on the conversion rate once those leads land with people? So you have 20% from your landing page. What's it look like for those deals closing, if you have any idea?
Yeah, good question. So I have it in the system where people can mark leads as under contract, or when a deal closes, they can put in the profit that they got on the specific deal, so that in the platform, then it'll calculate for you how much you've spent on leads, how many contracts you've had, how many deals you've had, how much profit you got from those. And it'll tell you your conversion rate from lead to contract, from lead to deal, your cost per contract, your cost per deal, your return on lead spend. But almost nobody's using it is the thing. So I think
Same.
most people are just doing this in their own CRM.
Hmm.
So I would like to have better visibility over that, because I'll talk to people and they'll be like, oh yeah, I got a couple of leads under contract, and I see that they didn't mark anything in their account under contract.
Your data.
Long end, yeah. Long story long is that I don't have great visibility under it. But from some of the people that I've talked to, I would say probably around 1 in 20 on average conversion. Now, I've had people who have got their second lead under contract. I've had people who have gotten one out of their first 4 under contract. But it's two pieces, of course. There's the lead and the lead quality, and then there's the person's business and their business model.
Yeah.
And so if you could send the greatest leads in the world to somebody who doesn't call them quickly and who makes offers at 10% of market value, and they're probably never going to get any deals, right? On the flip side, also, another thing is that with PPC, you have much less control over targeting specifics.
Yeah.
If you got some very specific model where, say, you're wholesaling to a builder and they're like, okay, we want leads only in these zip codes, and they have to have sewer and water at the street and XYZ requirements, blah, blah, blah. If you're trying to do PPC, it's probably not going to work very well, just because you can't really do that. Google has no idea about the details of the person's land when that person's searching sell my land. So you're going to get just all sorts of land. If you got a very specific model where you need very specific criteria for land, it's probably not going to fit very well. And so a lot of those people probably aren't even going to do PPC. But then there are some people who are more in the middle, where they're not super specific, but maybe they don't really like to do anything under 2 acres or something like that. Now, you're still going to get stuff under that. So one of the biggest buyers I have on the platform, he tosses a lot of the leads just because they're too small of acreage for him. So he's just not even working them if they're under a certain size. So that will lower, obviously, conversion rate on the leads as well if you're tossing a bunch of the leads because they don't fit into your buy box. So I would say you have higher motivation with these leads, but you have less control over the type of land that's coming in. If you were to be able to work every lead that came in and make it, and that, you'd probably have a higher conversion rate. But there's a lot of people who aren't going to mess with stuff that's got too much wetlands, or that is landlocked, or has too much slope, or whatever issue. And with PPC, it is a mixed bag. You're getting everything.
Yeah. That's definitely a trade-off. It's not like someone who's looking to subdivide. They're not going to come and be like, okay, I'm looking for you. They're probably not going to use the site. It's going to be someone more with a wider tool belt. They can see what comes in. They can swing deals. What's your most prolific customers look like? Are they people with big land teams, or is it people who just come in and they're swinging stuff, just a one-person operation? What's that look like?
There's both. There's definitely both. I think one of the big benefits of PPC, at least PPL. If you're doing PPC and you're running your own campaigns, that's a whole job in itself.
Mm.
But if you're doing PPL, you're just getting warm leads delivered to you. And so you don't need to have a big team of cold callers or texters, or like a lot of the stuff that comes with the outbound methods. It has a lot of work involved to generate those leads. So a lot of people, if they're not using a service like yours or somebody else's where that's being managed for them, they have to spend a lot of time on their own to do lead gen and pulling lists and filtering their lists and hiring a VA and doing QA on their VA calls and all that stuff that it takes to do lead generation. So with PPC or PPL, with this, you just say, okay, I want leads from this state. I'll pay this much. I want no more than this many leads per day. And then you just wait till a lead comes in and you call it and see if you can make a deal. So you can do it as a one-man shop. And it's, I would say, pretty good for that. But we do also have guys that have bigger teams and run more volume through too. But it depends on your budget too. So that's the other thing is right now leads are running It depends on the state, but I think nationwide, I think right now is at $66 a lead. I think the most expensive is Colorado at like around $85 a lead, something like that.
Mhm.
You can definitely spend some money quickly if you're buying several leads a day at that price. You can definitely spend some money. And the thing with the land business is that it can take a little while for your marketing dollars to turn into dollars in your bank account. Even if you are
Mhm.
getting a good ROI, return on lead spend, it can take a lot of people 90 plus days for it to end up back in their bank account.
Mhm. Yeah, I have this conversation with people all the time with the cold calling thing, and it's that cash conversion cycle. I A lot of times when I talk about if people are brand new, it's okay. You're not quite ready for this. Come back when you've closed your first deal, sent a few thousand mailers, etc. I usually point people towards mailers because it's here's the thing with mailers is you can send out just 100, get a few leads, work them, be really diligent, like practice working them, and you can turn the marketing off versus something like cold calling. If we start this machine up, you are going to start getting leads and it's not turning off for 6 months. So you got to be ready to do that. But pay per click is almost better than the mailing as far as just barely getting kicked off or dipping your toe in the water because you can just go buy yourself 2 leads and then work them and see what happens. Then buy 2 more and turn it off, turn it on, and get some real good practice seeing deals and getting your head around it. And then maybe the next step would be mailers. But like you're saying, it cuts out all that beginning stuff. And also for someone who's just already has a cranking business, it's just real easy. Like you don't have to spin up a whole marketing wing. Just go buy a few leads and throw them in your pipeline. And then as it grows, you can just buy more leads. So it's like a really easy way to either start or add to whatever business you already have going. Because it fits, it's similar to what I tell people with our cold calling. You don't have to do anything. You just plug a new marketing channel in and it stands alone over here. You don't have to get a bunch of prep work done because like what you have there, it's all built for you. You just start managing the leads. You don't have to manage the whole front end of the marketing. It's a really interesting thing. Is there other people building something similar to you side by side? Or are you the only one that's got?
I know that some of the house wholesaling companies are starting to dip into land leads. I'm not sure exactly what their model looks like and how they're doing that. This is all pretty recent. I sold the first lead July 15th of this year. So
Oh, congrats.
just over 4 months ago. Yeah. So this is all very recent. And when I was first starting to build this, I didn't know of anybody else doing any sort of PPL, PPC land leads. Now I'm starting to hear that there are some places that are starting to do it, but I'm not sure what their model looks like, how all that works through them.